the cryptocurrency hub, and today we're going to explain what is cryptocurrency. You may be eager to get your mining operation started, but before you can create cryptocurrency, we want to make sure you understand what cryptocurrency actually is. The cryptocurrency thing is so new, or at least most of the interest in cryptocurrency has occurred recently, even though cryptocurrency in various forms have been around since the 1980s. That most people involved have a rather shaky understanding of what cryptocurrency is and how it works. The average cryptocurrency owner, for example, may not know what they own. In this chapter, we will review the history of cryptocurrency and how the different components function together. You'll have a better foundation to understand how to mine cryptocurrencies if you understand what it is. Let's dive in a short history of digital dollars. Cryptocurrency is just one type of digital currency, a special type. At the end of the day, cryptocurrency may be thought of as a form of digital currency. So what's a digital currency then? Well, digital currency is a very broad term that covers a variety of different things, but in a general sense, it's money that exists in a digital form rather than a tangible form. Think of like coins and banknotes or any type of currency that you can touch. So you can transfer digital currency over an electronic network of some kind, whether the internet or a private banking network. In fact, even credit card transactions may be thought of as digital currency transactions. After all, when you use your credit or debit card at a store, online or offline, the money is being transferred electronically. The network doesn't package up dollar bills or pound notes and mail them to the merchant. First, let's take the internet. The cryptocurrency story really all begins with the internet. Digital currencies existed before the internet was in broad use. But for a digital currency to be useful, you need, well, some kind of digital transportation method for that currency. If almost nobody is using digital communications network, and until 1994, very few people did, then what's the use of digital currency? But after 1994, millions of people were using a global digital communications network called the internet. And a problem arose. How can you spend money online? Okay, today the answer is pretty simple. You use your credit cards, debit cards, or PayPal account. But back in the mid-90s, it was more complicated. Let's add the credit card confusion. Back in the mid-90s, some of you may recall, and many of you were too young back to remember this, I realize, people were wary of using credit cards on the internet. When I had my own publishing company and was selling books through my website in 1997, I, Peter Tyler, too young to remember in 1997, would often receive printouts of my website product pages in the mail, along with a check to pay for the book being purchased. I was taking credit cards online, but many people simply didn't want to use them. They didn't trust the interwebs to keep their plastic safe. In addition, setting up a payment gateway for credit card was difficult and expensive for the merchants. These days, it's a pretty simple process to add credit card processing to a website. It's built into virtually all e-commerce software, and with services like Stripe and Square lowering the barriers of entry, getting a merchant account is no longer the huge hassle and expense it used to be. Of course, we're talking commercial transactions here. But what about personal transactions? How can someone send a friend the money they owe? Or how can a parent send her beer money to their child away at college? I'm talking pre-PayPal and web-based transfer between bank accounts. So if we're going to live in a digital world, surely we need a digital money. One important characteristic of cash is that cash transactions are essentially anonymous. There's no paper trail or electronic record of transactions taking place. Plenty of people thought that an equivalent form of anonymous or pseudonymous digital currency would be a vast improvement over traditional settlement methods. So, many people thought there had to be a better way. We needed a digital currency for a digital world. These days, perhaps, that viewpoint seems naive. Looking back, it was obvious that the credit companies weren't going to see trillions of dollars of transactions shifting online. And just wave goodbye. They wanted a piece of the action, unwilling to give up their monopoly. And so today, the primary transactions method in the United States and most of Europe are bank cards of various kinds. Alright, so the Bitcoin white paper. Let's talk about the history of Bitcoin. In 2008, a certain guy with the name of Satoshi Nakamoto published and posted in a cryptography forum known as the Cyberpunk mailing list. It is a document titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, saying, "I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party," he said. The following list of attributes Nakamoto stated were key to Bitcoin. Double spending is prevented with a peer-to-peer network, no mint or other trusted parties, participants can be anonymous, new coins are made from hash cycle style proof of work. The proof of work for new coin generation also powers the network to prevent double spending. The document is a fairly dry read, but it's worth spending a few minutes checking it out. You can easily find it by navigating to bitcoin.org, bitcoin.pdf, which is we're going to link down below. So the abstract for the Bitcoin white paper begins with the following statement. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution, Nakamoto wrote. He explains that his method has solved the double spending problem, an issue plaguing earlier digital currencies. The challenge was to make sure that a digital currency couldn't be spent twice. Nakamoto also described using blockchain functionality, although the term blockchain appears nowhere in the white paper. We proposed using a peer-to-peer network. The network timestamps transactions by hashing them into an ongoing chain of hash-based proof of work, farming a record that cannot be changed without redoing the proof of work. Bitcoin, the first blockchain app. Early in January 2009, Nakamoto launched the Bitcoin network into action using blockchain, a concept that has been around since the early 1990s. Though this was the first time it had been correctly implemented and created the first block in the blockchain known as the Genesis block. This block contains 50 bitcoins as well as the text, The Times, January the 3rd, 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks, as a justification and explanation as to why a system like Bitcoin was so important. Nakamoto continued coding updates into the protocol, running a node, and potentially mined around 1 million Bitcoin, a number that would make him one of the richest people in the world by the end of 2017, at least on paper. By the end of 2010, Satoshi Nakamoto published his last forum post and officially signed off from the project. But by this time, many other cryptocurrency enthusiasts had joined in, began mining, supporting open source code development, and the rest is history. Who or what is Satoshi Nakamoto? So, who was this Satoshi Nakamoto guy? Or gal? Or organization? Nobody knows. Satoshi Nakamoto doesn't seem to be a real name. It's most likely a pseudonym. And if anyone knows for sure who Nakamoto really is, they're not saying it. It's the greatest mystery of cryptocurrency. There is, however, a Japanese-American man named Dorian Prentice Satoshi Nakamoto, born Satoshi Nakamoto apparently. This person was a trained physicist, systems engineer, and a computer engineer for financial companies. Perhaps he was the Satoshi Nakamoto. However, he's denied it several times. How about Hal Finney, who lived just a few blocks from Dorian Prentice Satoshi Nakamoto's home? He was a pre-Bitcoin cryptographer and one of the first people to use Bitcoin, and claimed to have communicated via email with the founder of Bitcoin. Some people have suggested he borrowed Satoshi Nakamoto's name and used it as pseudonym. Then there's Nick Szabo, who has long been involved in digital currency, or even published a white paper on BitGold before Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper. Or what about Craig White, who at one point claimed to be Nakamoto but was later accused of fraud? Or Dr. Vili Ledonvirta, a Finnish economic sociologist? Or Michael Clear, an Irish graduate student in cryptography? Or three guys who filed a patent that includes an obscure phrase, computationally impractical to reverse, also used in Nakamoto's white paper? Or Japanese mathematician Shinichi Mochizuki, or JedMac Caleb, or some type of government agency, or some other kind of, team of people, or Elon Musk? Well, nobody knows. But theories, abound. The second biggest Bitcoin mystery, Nakamoto owned around 1 million Bitcoin, which in December 2017 was worth around 19 or 20 billion dollars. The entirety of Nakamoto's estimated Bitcoin fortune has not been moved or spent. Why hasn't he or she, touched this money? Now let's talk about blockchain in another video. So I just want to thank all of you guys for hopefully watching this video. This is part 2 of the cryptocurrency series where our team will explain what cryptocurrency is, and in the next video we'll talk about blockchain. So in order to understand cryptocurrency, you need to understand a little bit about blockchain. Like, blockchain technology is super complicated, but that's fine because you don't need to understand everything. You just need to know the basics. All right, so thank you so much guys, and I'll see you on the next video.